one last video about Daredevil Born Again. Yes, that is right. Today we are doing our last video on that series, and that is going to be ranking every season of Daredevil. Now, I am including the Defenders in here. There are going to be 5 seasons. I was considering not including the Defenders, but then I realized that you literally need to watch the Defenders before you watch Daredevil Season 3, so we're going to have the first 3 original seasons of Daredevil, The Defenders, and Daredevil Born Again. Before I dive into my ranking, please tell me down below what is your ranking, and while you're down there, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, so you never miss another Daredevil ranking, or any ranking in general on this channel. And with that said, in 5th place, last place, is going to be The Defenders. I'm a little bit frustrated by this show, and before I dive in, I just want to let you all know there are full reviews for each season that on this channel. There will be a playlist in the end of the video, the end card, and I'm going to put it up here wherever YouTube decides to put it. So that is going to happen. You can check out full thoughts even more in those videos. I'm frustrated with The Defenders. It shouldn't be that hard to mess up the show where you have Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil teaming up, along with all of their side characters, finishing off arguably the weakest plot in Daredevil, the Hand plotline, but still a pretty interesting plotline about the Hand, the important Daredevil plotline about the Hand. And it just felt so frustrating. There are pretty great things in here. I love that we get to see all these characters interact, whether it's our 4 main characters or it's all the side characters in their respective shows. I love seeing that. I love seeing more of Karen, more of characters in Luke Cage, more of characters in Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, personally, one of my favorites out of all these Netflix Defenderverse series. It is cool to see that. There are some cool action sequences here. Obviously, it's got a lot of martial arts because you got the Hand, who are ninjas, and then you got the other people's superpowers, and Daredevil, who's got all his martial arts. There are some cool action sequences. I've been seeing a lot on Twitter, people posting, like, how do we hate this show, with screenshots of beautiful, beautiful shots in the show. So the show is shot beautifully, besides a couple terrible CGI moments. The show feels like it's doing too much with too little episodes. My biggest complaint about all the other shows is that there's 13 episodes in it, and a lot of the time it can start to feel a little bit repetitive and a little bit long. Here, we have 8 episodes, so not only do we need that 13 episodes to fully flesh everything out, or you could handle your 8 episodes wisely, which they did not do. The biggest problem here is that we spend 2 or 3 episodes in this season setting up other seasons of other shows. Whether you get some conclusions to Iron Fist, setting up season 2 of that, you get starting to set up season 3 of Daredevil, you start to set up season 2 of Luke Cage, season 2 of Jessica Jones. We're setting up so much using 3 episodes of a show that we only have 8 at, that covers this big sweeping plot about the Hand. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all to waste so many episodes like that. So the time isn't used wisely. There's some terrible CGI shots. I like the feeling that there's a war going here, but still, parts feel rushed, parts feel drawn out. Nothing feels fully awesome in this season. And for the season that probably should be my favorite here, it's my least favorite. Really frustrating. Number 4, our newcomer, the reason I'm making this video, Daredevil Born Again. This one, again, just like the Defenders, is a cause of not using your time wisely. And here you have 9 episodes, and I don't feel like you use the time for these 9 episodes wisely. It's a little bit frustrating. There are great things in this show. There are things much better than the good things in Defenders. I like certain plot lines. It's cool to see Karen back in the finale. Cool to see Frank back in several episodes. There are some solid action sequences. Nothing as good as the action sequences in the original Daredevil run, but there's some good action sequences. Some plot lines here. I really like seeing Kingpin back. What he's doing in the season is something I really did enjoy here. Muse. A lot of people had their frustrations with Muse. Not me. I thought he was really cool character, and the way he was handled was really cool. But There's plot lines I like. There were things that I am anticipating in Season 2, specifically the cliffhanger that we ended off at. I'm excited to see how they resolve that. But the cliffhanger is the big issue here. We have 9 episodes, technically 8 following the main story, granted that we have 1 full episode about our characters being in a bake heist. Frustrating use of the episodes. And the fact that it takes us 5 episodes, we have to watch 5-hour-long episodes to even get Matt in the suit. Because we're following the plot line, should he be Daredevil, should he not be Daredevil, we're doing that again. It's handled pretty well until it starts to feel drawn out. And drawn out, and drawn out, and still drawn out. It starts to get to the point to where it starts to feel pretty dull. And then we get to the stuff when he's Daredevil, and it's good, but we start at episode 6. So we have episode 6, 7, 8, and 9 for him to be Daredevil. We have 4 episodes of a 9-episode season focusing on Daredevil. Still, no use of the season's time was used properly. Things I really liked in here. The time was a little bit frustrating. Plus, kind of feels a little Disney-fied. It's not as near as cinematic or as dirty feeling as the Netflix stuff. And I mean that as a compliment, not towards this show, but towards the Netflix stuff, the dirty stuff, because it feels like the city needs saving. Here, you feel that it's in the MCU. You feel like it's kind of done with the Disney camera. Nothing has as much sauce as the original Daredevil run did. But, it's a frustrating watch for me. I feel like either the way the season 2 is handled could either make or break this season for me. But for now, I left the season being really frustrated. In third place, season 1 of Daredevil. Now, this one was also a little bit frustrating, but not as near as much as the other 2. I did like this one tremendously more than I liked Daredevil Born Again. The thing about this season was that the beginning of the season was amazing. It was a phenomenal opening bit of the season. And then the middle kind of lost me, and then the ending ended it off amazingly. This is where the problem of having 13 episodes comes in. Where 13 episodes, very long for a show like this, where we're trying to tell a story, but at the same time, it starts to repeating plot lines. We got the Kingpin and all people in the mob, and there's bad things happening, but it goes on for a bunch of filler episodes. And that's why it is lower on the list here. Even though we have a phenomenal beginning of the show, it's brutal. I was not expecting to be this brutal. We get a hallway fight scene at the beginning, which we have 3 hallway fight scenes in each of the seasons, and they're all 3 awesome. I thought, I love the beginning of the season, especially that fight scene, the brutal nature of it. And then the ending of the show ended off great. It resolved a bunch of plot lines. We have Daredevil full front and center. You have the final defeat of Kingpin. You have defeat of our characters, where we're seeing fan-favorite characters get killed. Wesley getting shot. Karen's plot arc beginning. Phenomenal stuff at the beginning and the ending of the season. The middle bit of the season feels way too long. It literally feels like it's starting to repeat plot lines, and I kind of got uninvested, and I stopped watching the show for 3 or 4 months. And then when Daredevil Born Again was getting closer, I was like, I gotta finish that. So I finished the end of the season, and after 1 or 2 episodes, I probably stopped watching the show around 6 or 7, and then we got to 8 or 9, and then episode 10, 11, 12, 13, phenomenal stuff. So when you get episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, phenomenal, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 to be a little bit kind of filling like filler episodes to get us to 13 episodes, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 finishes it off at an amazing way. A little bit frustrating that the whole show could have had that quality, because if the whole season had that quality, it'd probably be number 1. As much as I love the ending and beginning of the season, it's better than anything in probably season 2. It probably would have been number 1 if I didn't get kind of bored and uninvested in the middle of the season. Number 2, we got Daredevil Season 2. Now, I really did like this season. I know it's a hot take. I know a lot of people think the hand plotline isn't as strong, and it's not as strong. It's not as near as strong of a plotline as the Punisher stuff at the beginning of the series. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I still really love this season. I think everything strong in the season's probably some of the best that we've gotten. The sequence with Daredevil and the Punisher on a roof, where they're talking about their moral codes and all of that. phenomenal sequence. Probably my favorite sequence in the entire show. Punisher stuff, everything with a Punisher in it is phenomenal. I mean, going back to what I just said, best stuff in the show. Great fight scenes were in this season. Great character arcs at the beginning of the season. Matt and Karen starting to get together, having that are they in love, are they not in love kind of aspect there. And then halfway through the season, we get Elektra that just shows up. And I did like that. I like the stuff they did with the hand. I think that at the very beginning of that plot line, it was really, really good stuff. Some really great action sequences, a really investing plot. Did find it kind of feel weird that we stopped the Punisher stuff and just flip it onto the hand stuff. That aspect was a little bit weird, but doesn't change the fact that I was still invested in the season. And then the more it goes on, the more it feels like kind of like a video game aspect where we're just following Daredevil and like randomly hand people will pop up. Hey, we got to stop these bad guys. Feels like kind of a side mission here. And then we get to the end of the season where we get that whole fight, and I don't really feel like one specific plot line was fully wrapped up. So like I said, the Punisher stuff, some of the best in the show. That's why it's number 2. I didn't ever get fully uninvested in the end of the show. It just kind of felt like it was relapsing over itself, kind of feeling a little bit repetitive over and over again. Doesn't mean I disliked it, but the finale was a little bit frustrating, the fact that I don't feel like we got a single plot line completely wrapped up. So, like, at this point, I gave Daredevil Season 2 an A- just because of kind of like the final few episodes didn't quite do it for me. I gave Daredevil Season 1 a B+, wanted to give it an A-, but I gave it a B+, and then Defenders Season 2, or not Season 2, but Defenders gave a D+, and, not D+, a C+, and Daredevil Born Again I gave a C+. So that changes everything where I never really fully loved one of these seasons. I thought Daredevil Season 2 was great, but it had issues. With that said, number 1, Daredevil Season 3, A+, amazing season. This is pure masterpiece. This was a phenomenal season of television. Probably one of my favorite seasons of television of ever. It's so good. We start off at the end of the plot line from Defenders. Daredevil's presumed dead. He's still alive, but he's kind of doing that, oh, is he Daredevil? Is he not Daredevil stuff again? But it's handled better. And then throughout the entire show, Kingpin's back. He's back. You know he's starting to manipulate the NYPD. You know that. And he's back as much as dangerous as he was in Daredevil Season 1. Now you finally get him back, and he's equally as dangerous, if not more dangerous, in there. So there's actual stakes here. Certain plot lines are amazing. Dex, I was not sure how I liked him being handled as he was becoming Bullseye, but by the time he starts to become Bullseye, by the first time he puts on that Daredevil suit, we have phenomenal action sequence, and that's what this season does best. Action. The action is the best out of any of these seasons I've talked about in this video. Whether you get the ending sequence, you get the office sequence, you get any sequence, name any sequence in the show, and I'd say the action is phenomenal. Certain plot lines resolve, you get dangerous villains, and then that whole finale where Daredevil finally gets happy in his life. And that's why I kind of delayed watching the beginning of Born Again, because I knew that Foggy was going to die and you'd get to see him being sad. But you finally get him being happy. Resolves the plot line. It's criminal that they canceled after that, because the Season 4 would do wonders. But it just resolves everything so perfectly. Even where you get a random episode in, like, near the climax of the show following Karen. Could not believe that we were doing that. As soon as the episode started, what are we doing? But it's turned out to be one of my favorite episodes of the show. Every character, every plotline, every action sequence is handled with so much care. Even like a random detective character in Nadeem. So much is done with him that he becomes one of my favorite characters in the show. So everything is taken with so much care. It's by far my favorite season of Daredevil, and that's why it's number 1. Thank you guys for clicking on this video, and with that said, stay tuned for so many other videos coming very soon. And with that said, subscribe.